Hey guys, this is Mitch, and welcome back. We're back checking out some more Spider-Man. Just garden variety Spider-Man. He's not amazing, he's not spectacular, he doesn't even have a web. Good old JP Spider-Man from Lansing, Michigan has heard about some joker over in New York using his name and gaining fame and fortune with it. Every once in a while he thinks about that guy, just shakes his head and clucks his tongue. He doesn't go in for that malarkey. So before we get into this, if you enjoy the channel, if you feel like you might want to support me a little bit as an artist, what you can do is in the description, there's a couple of links. If you go over to my Patreon and subscribe there, that'll give you access to all the Blood Force stuff as well as these videos. And you can also go over to my Instagram and commission some artwork. So let's get into all of this. All right, so leading up to this, Jesus, I'm trying to think of what the story could have possibly been. Let's see, Rise Above It All, inconsistent narration, great artwork, and nothing really happening. So what we've got is the Lizard is under the control of Calypso through the use of voodoo, and she's got a beef with Spider-Man. Why? We don't really know. And she's using the Lizard to basically beat the living shit out of Spider-Man over and over. For, this is issue number 4 now. We don't know how she got control of the Lizard, or why him specifically. And we haven't really had any plot development. It's all been, the Lizard attacks Spider-Man, beats him up. Spider-Man got poisoned by his fight with the Lizard, so he's seeing hallucinations. And his spider sense is out of control. And we can see on the cover here, all the boobly boops, showing that he's not 100% at all. He's still under the effects of the drugs, probably. So Spider-Man, like I said, gets beat up, runs away, gets beat up again, falls unconscious, gets beat up. That's been the last 3 issues, really. So is this one going to be any different? Let's find out. So first we're going to start with the cover. It's a pretty good cover. It's kind of a weird pose for Spider-Man here. The torso's good, this leg's good. This leg is weird and small. And this hand is, there was not enough time spent on that hand. I mean, there's a lot of detail on this cover, so it might have just been a case of nobody's going to notice his hand. You know, I'm just going to whip it off quick. And I've got so much of this debris to render. It's not worth it. But yeah, pretty good. And no matter how many times you kill him, the Lizard lives. And that is a thing that has been popping up, where the Lizard got impaled at one point and came right back. So we've got an unkillable enemy with unknown motivation. That sure builds drama. All right, so let's get into it here. And we're going to get what we've seen the last few issues with the 5 vertical panels. And this is continuing directly from the end of the last issue, where Spider-Man got hucked into a pile of trash and was hallucinating, woke up and saw dead Kraven. Although this is a considerably gorier version than what we saw at the end of last issue. Right there, because of course Kraven killed himself at the end of Kraven's Last Hunt. That's why it was his last one. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Why they went flesh tone here and more, week old corpse here. Why they went, I was going to say why they went with blood. It might have supposed to have been blood here. Maybe Todd had a talk with the colorist. That might have been it. But yeah, Rise Above It All. 5 vertical panels leading to double page spread. This is all formulaic now. I mean, at least the art is great. It's just in service of nothing. And again, those gigantic hands with somehow enough detail that it doesn't look bad. Wish I knew how to do that, but I don't think my style works for it, personally. I don't think many people's style works for it. And Spider-Man is, of course, trying to ward off his hallucination. And in his head kind of goes back into when he was buried alive. Like, all of this stuff, the narration doesn't have any real purpose other than to take up space, and there should be narration here of some kind. And I guess it keeps you on the page a little while. And again, we get that second-person perspective. Yeah, here too. But like all of this is just he takes this first page to set the scene, sometimes effectively, sometimes not. It's a big old splashy image. And like all of this stuff, nobody's saying anything, nothing's happening. It's really just a cool page Todd wanted to draw. And again, same thing. Now he's remembering back to when he was buried alive and busted out. And it's carrying over to while he's in the trash, and he's just flailing away at the trash. They say, flail at the unseen ghost. That is quite the flail. Like, he looks like he might have broken his wrist there. And this is a cool juxtaposition, I suppose. Although, I mean, he is just wailing on trash. I would imagine Kraven's Last Hunt was probably the storyline Todd likes the most for Amazing Spider-Man. It is the darkest one. It is probably the best one up until now. I say up until now, like there's been better ones since. I don't even know if there has been. I haven't heard about too many. And again, just these are images that don't need narration. Shot of the grave, punch out of the grave, punch out of the trash, flail at the trash. Like, we get what he's going for. And the spell begins to break a little bit. He's no longer seeing the hallucination. So it's not Kraven and the lizard, it's Calypso and the lizard. And the lizard is photocopied. Not the tail. The tail is different in both, but the head is. Writing, penciling, inking. I don't blame him for that. Weird choice here with the big vertical black panel. That doesn't really, I guess it's kind of like a shutter. I'm not sure if that works or not. It might. It's not the worst idea. And Calypso celebrates because Spider-Man collapsed. He's been beat to shit. She commands the lizard to pick him up, and they carry him back to Calypso's hideout. This all looks fine, but it's not, it's not particularly eye-catching. So I guess, yeah, that makes sense because it's the pages where a little bit happened. And there's a bit of a thing here. Creature lives only to serve its new master. How long it will continue to obey, no one knows. And say, okay, are we going to learn a little bit about how the lizard came under Calypso's control? I guess we're building up to the point where the lizard will break free of Calypso's control. I mean, that, well, we'll see later in this issue what happens. And we're going to cut to Mary Jane, who gets home, discovers that Peter isn't home yet, so she leaves a note and heads right back out again. That's quite the life she lives, I guess. And Todd's not going to spend a whole lot of time on this page. I guess he likes drawing Mary Jane's hair. Everything else here can, kind of fuck off. Fair amount of black on here. There's been that's his whole comic is all black. And then we're going to cut to Calypso's mansion / church / palace. And this looks like a very simplified page. I think this is a catch-up page. Because he didn't bother doing any detail on the mansion. These background things, I think these were probably done fairly quickly. This took no time. This panel took a bit. And we find out Spider-Man does not know who Calypso is. So that's a verification for me. I wasn't sure if she had shown up before in Spider-Man. I think she must have shown up before this at some point. Okay, back in Amazing number 209, apparently, in 1980. So she has been around for a while. I never saw her in a comic apart from this. So Spider-Man asks where Kraven is, because that's what he keeps hallucinating about. And she's talking shit about Kraven. So she knows him. So that's good. I didn't just typecast her because she had the leopard print on. That's always comforting. And Spider-Man's going to try and build up his strength while she monologues. But she doesn't really. We just get more narration. And for a second, Spider-Man thinks that maybe the lizard is kind of smiling, like, oh yeah, maybe he can understand me. And nope, not so much. Wish there was a little bit more to talk about. This is a nice panel with all the braziers and everything. There's nice atmosphere. these shots here with the heavy shadow. It's all good. And, I mean, Calypso just keeps working her magic and not saying anything, so nothing really happens. Those braids must be hell to draw. I mean, it's miniature cyber dreads, right? Just, oh, no thank you. And we're going to cut back to Mary Jane, who's having a great fucking time, apparently, just powdering her nose. She just loves that shit. I don't know. And she's trying to distract herself from Peter being missing. She doesn't seem to be worrying too much. I assume at some point, Peter's gonna, like, stumble back into the house and be just, next to dead. And she'll feel terrible. And like, oh my god, I gotta nurse you back to health or get you to the hospital or something. But not this issue. And this is a page about how Calypso is standing still and not talking and not doing anything. And Spider-Man is still thinking about, how many times he's been beaten up in the last couple of days and how he got poisoned. And how does the lizard fit into this? We would like to know. We haven't found out yet. So we're going to find out now? No. We are going to find out about Calypso's origin, how she grew up on an island. There was voodoo there. She wanted the power of the tribal chief. So she killed a chicken. And she met up with Kraven. I suppose he directed her how to get more power. It doesn't really say that, though. And then she sacrificed her sister, and that gave her more power. And again, photocopied panel. So now we know what Calypso's deal is, I suppose. We don't know why she's going after Spider-Man. Although, I mean, the Kraven connection seems like a possibility. Except that she keeps calling him weak and saying that he took the easy way out. And he couldn't handle... So maybe it's like trying to prove what Kraven... Like doing what Kraven couldn't do. Except, the whole point of Kraven's last hunt was that he won. If he had wanted to kill Spider-Man, he could have done it. It was the fact that he tranquilized him instead of shooting him with regular bullets and buried him and then took over the mantle and did what he thought was a better job. To him, that meant he won. He could go out, by blowing his brains out. And we're going to get more mood stuff with Calypso playing around in the blood for the potion. Just really kind of excuse for a splash. This almost feels like it could be an ad. Check out this comic. There's going to be all sorts of crazy artwork like this. And I mean, they're right. There's just nothing else. So Spider-Man has been saving up all his energy, just everything he can muster to break the bonds here. That's kind of a classic shot, I guess. I think I've seen Todd do this before with Spider-Man. I can't remember now. Maybe it was Eric Larson. The lizard leaps at him, and by leaping at him, he knocks over the candles and braziers, and that breaks the spell, I believe. The trance has been broken. And the destruction has ruptured the gas lines, which is about to drip on the flames. And big old explosion. Good explosion. A lot of detail in there. He spent some time on that. And I guess we're supposed to wonder if Spider-Man died in there, even though he's in 3 other books this month. Maybe not. So, it did develop a little bit, more than the last one, I would say, which didn't really develop at all. So, theoretically, in the next issue, we should get the lizard breaking free from Calypso's control, Spider-Man being even more beat up. We should get a reason for why Calypso was attacking Spider-Man, and why she chose the lizard, how she controlled him. Maybe a little bit of detail about the poison. That would be pretty good. And seeing as how there's been a through line all the way through of Mary Jane not being too worried about Spider-Man, but a little bit of concern, a little bit of, I don't know, her trying to have her ditzy fucking life while Peter's out saving the day. there should be some sort of convergence there where, you know, after Spider-Man has survived, I would assume, I mean, you know, assuming that he didn't blow up here. We don't know that for sure. He should make his way home, just right next door to Dead, and have a reunion, something that wraps things up, basically. Anything else? It's not like there have been plot lines of any kind. Like, this is a 2-issue story at best. But then if you have a 2-issue story, you can't have 5 issues worth of splash pages. So, can't have that. Alright, so, I mean, you know, we'll see how this gets wrapped up, I guess. Judging by how Spawn number 7 ended, where Spawn just shot him, but the last time he shot him with a bigger gun, and then stuff happened off panel. I'm not expecting anything particularly clever, but I was gonna say you never know. You kind of do. We could get surprised. It might be the last video I ever made, because that would just like give me a fucking heart attack. And they finally came up with a title for the letters page, Crawl Space. That's a good one. And they like called out the dude who came up with the title. Like, giving his name is one thing. They also gave his mailing address. Is it a P.O. box? No, they like gave him a street address. And they're gonna just... I wonder how mad Todd was about this little next issue thing. The final chapter. Is Spider-Man dead? Of course not. But he probably won't be in very good shape. That's about right. Okay. So, that's Spider-Man number 4. Marginally more than happened in Spider-Man number 3. Again, it looked good. I would say Spider-Man 3 looked better for that. So I guess that's what happens if you decide to put in like a dash of story or plot development, is the art suffers a little bit. So maybe Todd should just like quit altogether. I had it in the back of my mind to do perceptions at some point. I don't even know if I want to do that now. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it is like 5 issues later. Maybe he learned a little bit. Well, 3 issues later. I don't know. If an editor sat him down and was like, okay, you got to have something happen, man. You can't just do the splash pages over and over. I don't know. But I guess that's going to do it for this one, at least. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go and subscribe on my Patreon. That's where all the Blood Force pages and finished comics go, as well as these videos before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. Then after that, head on over to my Instagram. Commissions there are now open. Also, I am participating in Inktober to a degree. So if you check out my Instagram, I'm working on this one currently for a comic called Space Knights. And the deal with this one is creator-owned comic books. So indie comics. This was a list put up by Uncle Jerk, who I've been following for a little while now. And I'm going to try and keep up with it for a while at least. I would have let you guys know sooner. Sorry. But, I mean, I'm filming this on October 1st. I just decided to do it today. So, if you want to head on over to Instagram, you can check those out anyway. I've probably got a bunch more by now. So, yeah, come back tomorrow when we wrap up Torment. But we're done for this one. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.